as I make my way. The fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot. We should ride together.
You know the stat quo. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Oh, yeah, you damn right. It's me. It's the Fantasy Football Hustler bringing you FNT. And you already know, we're here with Bogard Scott free.
It's amazing what time does, because I feel a whole lot better today.
Yeah. There we go. Jason Voorhees in the building early. What up?
Hey, man, you know how many times I've killed that motherfucker and he just keeps coming back, bruh?
He never quits. He doesn't quit.
Hey, listen, man, you never win against Jason Voorhees.
Antonio in the building. What up, bro?
You know, Jason Voorhees, does he come through more than Michael Myers in a year? Because Michael Myers comes through every Halloween, right? But Jason Voorhees, he comes through every Friday the 13th. It's like, how many of those do we really get?
Exactly. Maybe like one every 3 years, maybe two every 3 years, something like that. But it's definitely not once a year. I don't feel like it's that often.
I'll tell you this much. You can't even go to space. Jason will find you in space. Have you seen that one?
No, I've never seen that one. I definitely know the titles, that's for sure. What up, David? What's going on, bro? But he's still not as gangster as the Leprechaun, man. He'll chase you all the way to the hood.
Which one was that one?
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh, yeah. He was smoking the weed. He made the dude kill himself, right?
That was such a bad movie.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible, but it was funny.
Yeah, that's some funny parts. That's for sure. And that was probably the best part was when he started smoking the weed. Everyone just thought they were tripping.
And he starts rhyming. I mean, he's always rhyming already, but then he starts rapping.
And Antonio said Jason's back from killing Tom Brady. He had to chase his ass all over the world. We're going to get into some Tom Brady real soon. We got something to talk about before that. And Anthony, he said he stabbed the guy with the bong.
Yeah. Hey, man, bongs are dangerous, bro.
Hell yeah, man. Can't be letting those things drop.
Hey,
in Grandma's Boy, Dante. It's like, you should never throw a bong, kid.
Right? Now, remember...
Oh, what up, Sven? All right, what up, bro?
What up, Sven? Hey, man.
Didn't know your government name.
I sent him the link before this. Just I was like, shit, come fuck with us. We going live. But man, everybody look out for Sven Cooks, man. It's a brand new cooking show. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it, but I like knowing, you know, the exclusive shit, and it's gonna be awesome.
You heard it here first. What
Yeah.
That fantasy guy, what up? Let's get some GOAT talk going. We're getting to that in a second. We got to talk about Brian Flores first, because it just came through the grapevine. He is going to sue the Dolphins and like every team that interviewed him for racial hiring practices. And he came out and said he knows that this is bigger than him. And he says that he doesn't think there's going to be any way to get this shit changed unless he takes a stand like this. He said in his quote, I mean, I'm just taking pieces of his quote, but in his quote, he says he knows that this may lead to him never coaching again in the NFL, but he's thinking about the future. And the one thing that he brought up that I can't wait to hear more on, in 2019, the front office of the Miami Dolphins, they offered to pay him $600,000.
The front office that's on coke. Okay.
Hey man, that 600,000 is nothing. Just sell a couple bricks and, you know, take it all the way down no time. So they said they're going to pay him $600,000 if he tanks the season in 2019. He refuses, and he pretty much said that it was like, you know, a butting heads battle ever since then.
Hey, you know, when you look at what they were doing in 2019, you know what I'm saying? They were trying to secure Tua. And what's funny is I don't think anybody was really interested in Tua like that. I mean, the Chargers passed on him. Or not the Chargers didn't pass on him, but who else
Bengals.
passed on him? There was a
No,
couple teams.
it was like he got drafted 5th overall. So 4
Yeah.
other teams, you know, and Joe Burrow went first.
Four other opportunities for other teams to move up and trade up for Tua. So in hindsight, I might have seemed a little overzealous for them to try to tank. And first of all, what's fucked up about that is Brian Flores. He knows full and well. Brian Flores came from nothing, bro. He's from Brooklyn. He's from Brownsville for real. You know what I mean? Like the grimy Brownsville, not the gentrified versions of.
No,
Brooklyn.
like we're talking about same as Mike Tyson, right?
Yes, and you know, Flores obviously a minority. For those that don't know, he's of a Honduras ethnicity. You know what I mean? And like he's taking the Kaepernick route, man. You know what I mean? Like Kaepernick used his platform, right, to you know, to get to a global scale with you know raising awareness for social injustice. What Brian Flores is doing is similar, only in this case it's for the future of all coaches. You know what I mean? And this could also be on a global scale too, just for opportunities, like equal opportunities. You know what I mean? Like the Rooney Rule isn't enough. And I think that's probably why he's suing them. Like he feels like he might have only got some of these interviews because of the fact that they needed to interview a colored person before they interviewed everybody else.
Well, and that's what I mean, that's exactly what he's getting to, because the Rooney Rule or whatever, you know, you got to interview, you know, a minority candidate also. So every team is interviewing them. None of them gets them. And it's random people, you know, who are getting put. Nobody. Go ahead.
That fantasy guy.
Yeah. And but one of the things was with the Giants, because they were scheduled to interview him, and it was like a tactic for them to close another head coach or something like that, because he didn't even get the interview with them.
Yeah, like Brian, because Brian Dable ended up getting the job. He's fully aware of the capabilities and coaching stature that is Brian Flores. So, you know, if I'm the Giants organization, I'm like, hey, you know, well, good job, Brian Dable. We'll get back to you. Have your people call your people. And we got Brian Flores coming in first. And he's like, no, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like when we say it's almost gone. Like, hey, man, come and get it. So I'm almost all out. We still got hell of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's all tactics, and that's the thing it's getting a little bit crazy that Brian Flores is just that guy who everyone's interviewing just so they can get to the real person that they want.
And he's a fucking good coach. And you know it's really stupid that they fired him.
Yeah,
because knowing that. Well,
now we know why. I mean,
cocaine is one hell of a drug, though. So maybe they're like, you know, we'll sweep that under the rug. You're like, no, he won't. Like, here's one thing in the world that the world needs to understand: the working world, corporations, whatever it is, you can't treat people like commodities. You know?
No.
And like, and obviously, if you're a hot commodity. Now I'm about to like kind of contradict myself, but if you're a hot commodity, then you can get some leeway. You might be able to get people to to do or say what you want them to say. But at the same time, Miami's not a hot commodity. You know what I mean? And Brian Flores was the best thing they've had in the past 21 years as far as a coach, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look at who they had the past 21 years, the same GM. And if you look in the 21-year spans, he ain't done nothing for that organization.
No,
I mean, like even on guys you could say they hit on, like Tannehill. Yeah, Tannehill hit, but not with their team.
Yeah, so that wasn't even a hit for them. You can't even count that.
This is the team that hits in the draft too, but then they fail their players. Like, look at all the running backs they've had over the years.
When all the coaches are doing blow, it's hard to stick to the game plan.
That's a good point. Yeah, you know how many times I've been at a party, and then you get to the after party, and it goes all night. You know, everybody's getting loaded, and they talking about all the shit we should do tomorrow. Bro, we should go snowboarding, bro. Yeah, right? Oh, you know what, bro? I'll make a phone call. But you get to the morning, ain't nobody doing shit.
That's how
Everybody
it
starts
goes.
saying,
Always talking about what they're gonna do the next day and never really do it. Go plug it back in so it doesn't die. Yeah, so I'm really curious to see what unfolds because of this. Because I mean, we know now why he was fired because they've been butting heads ever since.
there's gonna be a ton of coaches that come out and say their piece, right?
Yep.
They're gonna come out and say their fucked up experiences with the interviews and whatnot, and then they're gonna pay him a settlement, and they're gonna make him sign a non-disclosure, just like Kaepernick. We don't know if Kaepernick got hundreds of millions of dollars or if he got $1 million. You know what I mean? Because
I think this is like a Roger Goodell thing, and I mean what Brian Flores said. I mean that let's let the courts decide on all this, and we'll see. The courts still may rule in favor, and like you said, just end up being a settlement or something. But this is just going to raise more red flags to where I mean we already like as a whole. It seems like people like the way the NBA is run a lot more in the NFL. And it's like all these little things are just making the NFL just look a lot worse.
I mean, it ain't pretty. You know what I mean? What's funny is because, being quote unquote fantasy football analysts, we just, there's things we were worried about, like in 2020, not having football because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then it's like, when everything goes back to, how we need it to be, like football is going on, nothing else changes that's been going on. You know what I mean? Like, someone like Brian Flores, who clearly could turn a franchise around, he's probably one of the guys that could be successful outside of Belichick because he's from that Belichick coaching family tree. You know what I mean? And
it seemed like he was successful. I mean, he's the defensive minded coach. I mean, if they were really wanting him to tank all the way, I'm assuming they were tanking for Burrow, not for Tua, unless they're really that oblivious that they thought Tua was going to go number one.
Oh, no, they wanted Tua. They're doing blow, bro.
All right. Enough about Brian Flores. I can't wait for more news to come out about this. I mean, today's the first day I'm hearing about it, so I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more over the next couple days and weeks. But we got to talk about, it's official now. Tom Brady officially retires from the NFL. I still think it could be a work. He could come back in a year, but at least as of right now, he's out of here.
Do avocados still exist? Then he's probably going to come back in one way, shape, or form. If not as a player, I'd say he is done. You know what I mean? I think he could look back and see 84,000. What was that? 84,500 something passing yards. 620 something passing TDs. Only like 203 or something like that. I saw career interceptions. So what's that, man? 600. I think it's 624 to 203. That's a hell of a passing touchdown to interception ratio. That's insane for a career. He has all the accolades. I think he's okay with not coming back. I think he's on to like the next upper echelon shit because he is white. That the doors are open for him. You know what I mean?
So what I've already heard, and I'm already hearing rumors. So we know that him and Jeter are friends, right? Like, I mean, when he moved down to Tampa Bay, he's literally staying in Jeter's mansion and shit. The upkeep that Jeter's his landlord. I heard that he's going to take a page out of Derek Jeter's book, and we already talked about him totally going over the head coaching. Like, he's way above that, like he's an executive. He's got the type of money where you can put in to an NFL franchise. And I heard that he's going to be making moves in Miami to get down somewhere in that Dolphins franchise.
Ooh.
Him and Jeter owning the Marlins and the fucking Dolphins. Like, that would be pretty wild. Like, what if they'd both turn it around?
I mean, Rodgers, I don't know. I think it's more like a Jay-Z type piece. Like, remember when Jay-Z had a piece of Brooklyn?
Right.
I think Rodgers has a piece of the Milwaukee Bucks, and they won a chip last year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how far. I think
all those Green Bay Packers shares, they're all bullshit. Like, I think that's just Green Bay like giving you a certificate saying like you're a part of their club. Cause like I was actually gonna go like buy into some of that, and then you read the fine print, and you really don't own shit.
Wow. They don't give you a cheese. Do they give you like an official cheese hat?
I mean, I guess I didn't look that far to see if there was any prizes.
I
Along
might
with
be in if I get a cheese hat. If I get a cheese hat, I'm in.
If it's an official Green Bay cheese hat, one of a certain amount, you know, they only give out to the Packer part owners,
Shareholders.
There you go.
Motherfucking goddamn. This shit is like, it has like a heater in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You put your head in that motherfucker and it heats it, bruh.
What up, JC Money? What's going on, bro?
Jesus Christ. I've been answering my prayers, Jeeves.
He's like Bruce Almighty. He's just got stacks and stacks of those prayers.
Hey, you know what's funny is that, remember he hit yes on everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucking the Bills were in it because it was in Buffalo. Remember he was in Buffalo?
Yep.
He's like, nah, man, those aren't the world's prayers. That's just this little area of Buffalo. Hey, Jim Carrey, I bet you that's how that movie came about. They're just writing a movie and they're like, what if Jim Carrey was God? Ooh, let's go with that. You know what I mean?
Well, first, what if Morgan Freeman is God?
I'm just saying, like, you know, you could be sitting laughing about Jim Carrey and you're like, hey, what if Jim Carrey was God? And then like, you're like, ooh, let's go with that. And you know what I'm saying? You write this story about Jim Carrey becoming God for a week.
Dang it, Ronald. That's what we talked about. Maybe like the first like 10 minutes of the show. We were getting into all that. So after the show, go back and rewatch the beginning 10 minutes that we talked all about that.
Hey,
and there we go.
Man,
so
I want to say them old ass crackers, they don't like non-crackers. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Hey, shout out to Brian Flores because he's not afraid to be a martyr, bruh. You know what I mean? If you become a martyr for something that you solely believe in, stand strong, and I respect the fuck out of that. Like people that don't, I used to not like Kaepernick, like as a person.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, he started discovering that he was black and going on them classes, and then he started looking around like, oh shit, they be fucking us up. Then he starts looking back on his life like, shit, I've been getting fucked up all my life living with these white folks, and that's probably why, you know, probably what saved him a lot in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? So I realized that. You know what I'm saying? And then I started respecting him for what he stood for. You know what I mean? And this is, I swear, this is another case of that. This is Brian Flores like, man, fuck that. This is a sport that's dominated by blacks. You know what I'm saying? Dominated by blacks, and it's still structured like the slaves. You know what I mean? You got owners, literally.
Here's the shit that gets me about
trade motherfucker. You're trading motherfuckers. You're drafting motherfuckers. Like this is like, it's just it's so glaring that it wouldn't be if there was equality in higher positions. You know, colored owners. Like, what do we got? Khan?
Yeah, I mean, really.
He has Khan in his name. You know what he's in it for? He ain't in it for to make change for minorities. He's in it to be like the Vince McMahon of like, you know, whatever nationality he is. What is he? Like Middle Eastern?
I'm not exactly sure. We'll look into that later. But
yeah,
I mean, that's really,
right. I'll tell you that much.
That's really what the issue is, and I feel like this is like a Roger Goodell issue. Somehow has to manage, you know, these 32 owners. Like, really, that's what it is. I mean, we know some are going to be dying off, you know, as they get older, but until that happens,
I was just about to say that. You know, we're probably like 10 or 20 years away because a lot of these motherfuckers are in the 80s and 90s. As soon as they start dying out, the next generation, we hope, aren't curmudgeon ass racist motherfuckers, bigots. You know what I mean?
Unless some Donald Sterling shit happens and they start looking in more and more, and then there's a whole bunch of shit that starts coming out, you know, on some of these owners. But I mean, that's the thing with the NFL. Like, I mean, they're all good old boys, you know, they're very good at hiding and keeping their secrets, you know, and I don't know. We already know
every so often you get a Brian Flores that's like, oh, you thought I was gonna keep my mouth shut for y'all? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Wow. I would have thought that was disrespect. You'd be like, you should have tried 60 million, bruh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause to sell his soul, that's like, and then And for someone who cares about his players, we're all it's like, imagine that, like, it's like it's like 3 and 18, and he calls a run play. There's at one point or another where I'd be like, yo, you see this motherfucker every time we're on 3rd and long, he calls a run play. Like, you know what I mean? Like then, these motherfuckers won't get paid. They're not putting good film out. Like, he knows the integrity of what the game is supposed to be. And just
damn it, fantasy guy, I hope it's not their racist kids that are just inheriting the team. I know they're going to inherit it. Hopefully they do better than the generation above.
I think Stephen Jones is cool. I think he's more about football than his pops is. His pops is about it's about being an entity. You know what I mean?
Right.
America's team.
Because they're a brand. I mean, they're the biggest.
It is. That's what a brand.
They're the biggest sports brand that exists right now.
You ain't lying.
We already know they're the most, what's it called? The most valuable franchise, at least money wise. It is what it is. It's crazy how it's like them and the Knicks that are competing for like most valuable franchise, and neither one of them really wins shit.
The Garden is part of it, I'd say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The nostalgia of the Garden, like, everybody I know that's Knicks fans, like even my brother-in-law, he's from Jersey, and he grew up a Knicks fan, and like, he was like, yeah, you came to a point where like you're going to the games and it's packed. It's a packed house, sold out all the time because people want to go see the other team, other fans. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah!
It's like they just were able to survive. But also, too, just that's they got some curmudgeon ownership over there, too.
Because, I mean, that's just like the teams in L.A. At least, I mean, literally every team in L.A., because even the Lakers also. I mean, there's a bunch of people who live there who are always going and supporting the Lakers. But pretty much anywhere in Southern California, it's a huge melting pot of a bunch of people. You got millions upon millions of people. You're going to be
remember when the Chargers and the Rams first went to L.A. a couple years ago? Not first, when they went back to LA, I should say.
Yeah.
I think the Rams played where SC plays.
Yeah.
And then the Chargers played somewhere in like some soccer stadium or whatever.
Yeah. They played at StubHub Stadium, soccer stadium with like 30,000 capacity.
Yeah, and it will always be chock full of the other team's fans because ain't nobody wanting to go see the Rams or the Chargers. Hey, oh shit, we're talking about the Rams. Yeah, fuck the Rams. What were we talking about?
Let's get back to Tom Brady. That's what we were talking about. So let's get back to Tom Brady. And
I'm mad at Tom Brady now. Tom Brady's supposed to take the Rams out. Then we embarrass Tom Brady. Then retire him. That's what we're supposed to do.
Do we think this is Tom Brady being a little bit petty? Like, oh, it's the first time I don't make it, to the conference championship game in the longest time. First time I'm not, in contention for the Super Bowl in the longest time. So I'm going to make sure that I'm the most popular man in sports during this Super Bowl run.
I mean, he already came out with a series, this year. And then, obviously you told me yesterday how Sheffy saw a clip, where he knew the retirement was coming. And I think he probably would have waited until after the Super Bowl and make his big announcement and try to steal the shine there. You know what I mean?
Like the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think definitely there's an ego in him where he wants to get attention. And then like Chef already blew the top off the story because he wanted to break the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, there's
he did, someone else would.
Yeah. And so here he is, you know what I'm saying? He just like, all right, fuck it. Yeah, okay, now, do you think it's funny that he didn't thank New England in his official retirement?
Well, see, the thing is he already thanked them when he left for Tampa Bay. So, I mean, that was one of the things that someone said to me, like, oh, he's such a piece of shit for not thanking New England. This isn't like his Hall of Fame induction speech, like the last thing that we're going to hear about this. Like, I know he wrote, it was like 9, little pages on Instagram or whatever of the photos of the text or whatever, but he already thanked New England for everything there. He's thanking Tampa Bay. It was almost like, a second career, for him, and a little resurgence because those were 2 of the best years of his entire career. I think it'll be a shame if he doesn't mention them in the Hall of Fame speech or something like that. But I don't think it was a snub.
So he's officially retired because he says it, right?
Right.
I think this is what I think. is that he didn't thank them because he's going to do it the right way, and
And retire.
he's going to sign with them for a day and then retire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean that the snub would not be doing that and retiring as a Buck. I mean that would be the real snub if he did that. What up, Stu? And right on time. And then Ronald said Dallas sucks right as Stu comes in. And right before he came in. What up, bro? Stopping by for the algorithm, walking the pup, listening, hoping everyone's having a good day. And how about them Cowboys? Michael Parsons, Dick Butkus Award, best linebacker in the league.
I never even knew that award existed.
Me neither.
I'm hating on it.
I don't know if Michael Parsons deserves it, though.
I mean, because, first of all, he shined a lot playing DN this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of tight. It's like he was as a linebacker, he was good too. I mean, what did he get, 50 tackles?
Let me go check. I can't remember. I just came out with the top 12 linebacker, and I do break down a bunch of the stats. And,
I know he finished 5th overall at the position. But I'm not sure if that was
64, 84 combined, 64 solo, 20 assisted.
Okay. It's pretty good. And then he has his 11, his 13 sacks, was it?
Yeah.
Great rookie year. I mean, I would say it's going to be hard to duplicate that. I think he lives around 12 or 13 sacks a year. Especially if and then it gets worse. It gets harder for him if they don't, bring back Gregory or, you know what I mean?
Now you got a year of film on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm assuming that the Dick Butkus Award is just an award that you can buy. Because I don't think it was Parsons as the best linebacker.
I told you get the Dick Butkus Award. I told you. He flew out Dick Butkus. Is Dick Butkus still alive?
I have no idea. I'm assuming
either way, even if he wasn't alive, he resurrects him from the dead. Jerry got money, bro. Jerry's like, I resurrected him from the dead to personally present you with the Dick Butkus Award, Micah.
Yeah, because there's a handful of guys that I would have given it to over him. I mean, if part of the award is you playing on a playoff team, then I get it. But I mean, TJ Watt could have been him, could have been Foyo Lacoon. Why couldn't have been
Foylo or goddamn? How come it's not TJ Watt just hands down? That's crazy. You fucking tied the sack record.
Yeah, could be Roquan Smith. I mean, he had like 160 something total tackles.
He finished higher than Michael Parsons in the rankings, right? Or in the standings.
Who did Roquan?
Yeah,
in fantasy, yeah. I mean, I'm mainly just talking about his tackles, and I mean, he didn't have 13 sacks, obviously, but is the best linebacker, the one who gets the most. I mean, he didn't even have the most sacks, so it wasn't even about doing a little bit of everything. Because Roquan, I mean, he dominated in the tackles, had 3 sacks, had an interception, played every single game.
Dick Butkus, did he play for the Bears?
Yeah, he was on that 85 Bears.
Yeah, how come he didn't give it to Roquan? I'm really mad about that now.
Yeah, I mean, Roquan Smith had 100 more tackles than Micah Parsons and only 10 less sacks.
You know why? Because they're in a lot of negative game scripts. People are trying to run the ball and shoot the clock on them.
That's true.
No, we ain't having that.
And Ronald said, so you're saying it don't mean butt kiss.
Hey, man. Jerry Jones doesn't need to kiss ass. He just goes, look outside. See that Brinks truck outside your house? It's for you. It's for you. Hey, I bet you he buys people off left and right, bro. Jerry Jones might be the devil.
And Stu said, sheesh, it's haterade. Bro, I just told you he had 100 more, not has 100 tackles. He has 100 more tackles.
164 tackles, bro.
So, yeah, I mean, I get it. Micah Parsons, he had some sacks, but, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, is that even the rookie record?
I'm about to draft Micah Parsons, bro.
Oh, I mean, he's great in a dynasty league.
No, I'm just saying, if Stu's in that league, I'm about to draft him before Stu.
Look, he didn't even set the rookie record for sacks. 14.5 is the rookie record.
Do better.
And I bet Javon Kirsten get the Dick Butkus.
And they gave him 17 games, man.
And they gave him 17 games.
It's funny because we're finding a way to shit on Micah Parsons when he had like a phenomenal year.
It's because of the Cowboy fans. Just look, buying awards, getting all hyped about him. Fuck Michael Parsons.
I'll tell you this
I'll
much.
draft him if he's there, but
We got an
I don't
award
think
show.
he'll be there. Dude's gonna grab him.
We got a goddamn award show coming out, and I'll tell you this much: Micah Parsons ain't winning none on my award show.
Look at this. Okay, so Roquan Smith has 100 more tackles, right? Than Micah Parsons. TJ Watt has 10 more sacks. I mean, it was 9.5, but we'll just call it 10. They rounded up on Sleeper.
10 more only because they rounded. Oh, they rounded up.
Yeah. So it's 22.5, but they rounded up where it shows 23 if you're just on like the rankings or whatever.
Well, we're going with it, bro. 23. See, he damn near set the record. And remember, I told you I saw like a highlight reel of like 4 or 5 different sacks he got that there was flags on from somebody else fucking up. You know what I mean?
Ooh, Stu said, "Go ahead and draft Parsons, Bogey. I'll be snagging Lance."
Go ahead, have Lance. He act like I'm gonna trade the world for Lance. Lance, here's the thing: Lance is fun in Dynasty. If he is what I think he is, he'll be good for about maybe 3 or 4 seasons. You know what I mean? His style of play could limit him. Look at Lamar Jackson, bro. He missed damn near half the year, bro, because of the way he plays the game. You know what I mean? And if you can't be a prolific passer on top of that athleticism, then you got to get it while the window is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because your legs are only going to treat you good for so long.
That's why Josh Allen's such a threat, because he's mastered the balance. He's not only got the extreme athleticism, but he's a sharp passer. He's crazy accurate. You know what I mean? And he has a fucking cannon.
Yep, and it was Mahomes before him and Rodgers before him. The guys who don't have to do it, but who can do it at any time.
And it's like if you could find like Joe Burrow, he's not going to run around too much, and neither is Patrick Mahomes. But those are the type of quarterbacks I want in Dynasty right now, because their style of play, and they're fucking awesome, first of all, but their style of play is going to have you in this thing for like 4 or 5 years minimum. You know what I mean?
I mean, man, those guys are going to last longer than most Dynasty leagues will last. Let's just put it that way. Sir Bong's a lot in the building. What up?
What it do?
And Ronald said, "Oh, my TV is the biggest TV," even though I thought in the fucking way that people accidentally hit it on the kicks. I'm high. I don't even know. What does all that mean?
I got a pretty big TV. I got a 70-inch. I got a 60-inch. I think 70 is like where it's at. Until I get like a massive, massive wall, then I'm going like projector or like 120. You know, I mean, something real ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now it's real dope because, I mean, if you remember, you go back like 10, 12 years, shit like that. These TVs used to be crazy expensive. And now it's like you just wait 1 year after a TV comes out and they're pretty much giving it away.
Exactly. And go like any day where, President's Day, Labor Day, saying obviously Black Friday days, like that's when you go in them motherfuckers and you get the prior year models for dummy low.
I love it. That's the best.
Hold on, let me go grab the baby.
Let's go for it. All right. Let's smoke it up, guys. What are you guys smoking on right now? It's from the bone.
Smoke weed every day. You got perfect time. Start a little puff, give
this motherfucker.
Man, ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed. Weed is from the herb. God put this here for me and you. Take advantage, man.
Take advantage, man.
Don't give me that shit about it's a drug. It ain't no motherfucking drug. I done the research. It's just a plant. It just grows like that. And if you should happen to set it on fire, there are some effects.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to this Tom Brady stuff. Tom Brady's the man. We're never going to see anybody like him ever again. But I always got to play devil's advocate because there's too many people who are always stroking him off. I got to bring people a little bit back down to reality. And it's probably because he's from California. That's probably why everyone's been hating on him his whole life. So I could coincide with that.
Right.
Because he was never really given the chance. Had to always kind of prevail. Kind of lucked out, though, in New England because, Drew Bledsoe.
Hold on, luck or destiny?
Well, it was his destiny. That's for sure.
Mean, okay. I call him the evil dark lord of the Sith, Bill Belichick, right?
Yes.
Obviously he felt the dark side in Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady was there on the sideline when he was like, ugh, and then fucking his ACL tore. He did one of those on his ACL, bro. On Drew Bledsoe's joint, bro. And he got in there, bro. He's a dark prince of the Sith.
He really is. He really is. And he did what needed to be done. I think that he knew that he was a 6th round pick and no one was going to take him seriously. And really winning those championships, I think he knew that there was a lot of other places he could have gone that wouldn't have gave him the edge, like the Patriots. And luckily, he marries a supermodel who's like a bajillionaire. And so he's playing with house money his entire life. And a witch. Who's teaching him all the isms. They're doing all their witchery, before game day and all that. And I'm sure during game day, he's just been blessed. He's had the right pieces put around him his entire life. Let's just say that.
Listen, man, I'm perfectly comfortable with my sexuality as a heterosexual man to say he even grew to look better as he aged. he looked like a I don't know, he looked like a weirdo back in the days.
So you know what it was? We all remember Full House. We remember Uncle Jesse with all the crazy little things that he was putting in his hair and moisturizing and conditioning. There was always avocado in it. Do you remember that? There was always avocado in it.
Oh shit, it was, bro. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Now that I think about it, when Tom Brady first came out, he kind of did have the Uncle Jesse hairdo. Just with brown, blonde, dirty blonde, or whatever he is, brown, whatever the fuck his hair color is. Strawberry blonde.
Tom Brady's been very blessed. That's definitely one thing that I could say. Because, there's guys like the Pardon My Take guys. They go and they break down his 3 separate Hall of Fame careers, and by a lot of people's standards, it is. One thing I guess that we can't really change but will change in the future is how long these QBs last. Because when we go early 2000s, 90s, 80s, these guys aren't lasting 20 years because they're getting the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
They change these rules around, kind of just like how they changed some rules around for basketball to make it a little bit easier on the player, make sure that players have longer life.
And I feel like you had to just be inherently tougher back then. Like for pregame warmups, there's hella footage of Tom Brady. He's in there with the linemen, and they're all headbutting each other. Oh, like full on. You know what I mean? Not me headbutting you, like together. Ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like motherfuckers are already in concussion protocol before the first snap, bro. Like at least motherfuckers from these days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe that's how they got. Maybe that was just them getting ready for the game. They're ringing each other's bells, so you got to ring them a little bit harder during the game.
I think that's the most impressive to me in the evolution of Tom Brady is that he you could say he won on the back of the defense and Belichick's schemes and whatnot early on. And then definitely the first 3 Super Bowls were won off the foot of Vinatieri.
Yeah.
But it was that one against the Seahawks, bro. And I know they should have ran it with Marshawn Lynch, but still, to get the lead in that game, he had to come back from behind. He threw 4 touchdowns. That was the best he ever played in a Super Bowl, close to his idols. The Joe Montanas and the Steve Youngs of the world. Those are his heroes. You know what I mean? And he finally that was the one outing. And then he obviously the 2016 joint, where he comes back against the Falcons in the only overtime we've ever seen in the Super Bowl. And that was fucking amazing for people that don't like, my girl was always like, she never give a fuck about Tom Brady. She's like, fuck Tom Brady. You know what I mean? But like watching that Super Bowl, she was like, dang, he's the best. You know what I mean?
Let me rebuttal on these two before you go, because we got a couple other Super Bowls to go, and we're gonna get out of here in about 10-ish minutes because JC Money Show's coming in a little bit more than 15 minutes.
Jesus Christ, time doesn't wait for Jesus. Okay,
and
there's a problem there.
The Patriots versus Seattle and the mistakes that Seattle made. I mean, we never think about the mistake, and that's really one of the things that put him in the prime position to get that one. And of course, I mean, the interception, that's obviously a Seattle mistake and a Patriots, coming through with their opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he threw the pick in the end. You know what I mean?
Right on the 1 yard line. Like,
yep.
On the goal line.
When you talk to Malcolm Butler, when they talk, obviously he did a ton of interviews. He was the hero.
Yeah.
And he said that they practiced that play. He practiced against that look all week. And he said, he just knew when they show that look that a lot of times he gets it quick out to the tight end. And he just broke on the ball like instinct. That's Belichick's doing. Because this kid was a rookie. You know what I mean? And just for 2 weeks in practice, he just, he said, I might see this. Just look out for this. And he was in the game and he saw it. That's Belichick, bro.
The thing that was crazy about the other game, the one versus the Falcons, I mean, their defense, they were garbage in the first half.
Yeah.
And
they picked six them.
Yeah.
They picked six them and they picked them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then they sacked them a bunch of times. Like, they just made the proper adjustment. You know what's funny about that Super Bowl and the one against Seattle? It was Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was the DC in Seattle that year. And you know how he shredded up that cover 3 with the crazy ass pass rush?
Yep.
He shredded them up, getting it out quick to the running back. Shane Vereen had 112 receiving yards in that Super Bowl. He had two receiving touchdowns. And then James White was the guy against Atlanta. Did the same thing to him again.
Well, and really, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like Tom Brady.
My point is because it was Dan Quinn again. He was the head coach for Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Right. And really what it was, that's who it was. James White scoring the final touchdown, because Tom Brady failed. I don't know how many times he couldn't get it in there through the red zone. They had to keep going back to the run. And then it was the same thing in OT.
Wait a second. Hold on. He came back storming unanswered. And then he had to get 2 2-point conversions each time. 2 touchdowns and then 2 2-point conversions. And only 2 of them were rushing. You know what I mean? He hit Danny Amendola on one. He hit Edelman on one. He hit Amendola on a 2-point, and on a play they call a car crash, where it's like, just turn around, it's going to be right there, and be prepared for the hit. You know what I mean? And Danny Amendola was their little guy for those plays. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what we're talking along the way. We're talking crunch time right now.
They dominated them.
They did as a team. That's for sure. It wasn't just Tom Brady dominating, because he needed James White more than anybody, because he failed multiple times in the red zone.
He probably the MVP if Brady's not throwing for Brady set the record for passing yards in a Super Bowl that day. And
Atlanta's defense was ass.
Yeah, for sure. They're just opportunistic because they had the MVP that year. They had Matt Ryan on the other side of the ball all year with Shanahan, and they're running up the scoreboard. So this defense that was ass could fly around playing with a lead, like damn near every game.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm always going to be the contrarian just because it's more fun. And we could even go to Tom Brady's game that he won last year, all on the back of the defense and Devin White and Levante David.
I mean, to put the points up to allow them to do what they do, though, that all came in the first half. The Antonio Brown touchdown came in the first drive. You know what I mean? The Gronk touchdown came, in the second quarter. You know what I mean? And then everything else was just controlling the clock, getting down in the field goal range, punching in with Lenny a couple times. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying Steve Young is better than than Tom Brady, but we know Steve Young, when he was whooping ass in the Super Bowl, he just kept running the score up. And
Hell
then
yeah.
Joe
I mean-
Montana, who I do think is a better, I'm going to say he's a better quarterback. I don't know if he has more team accomplishments, but they were always running up the score. Like, it wasn't, we're just going to coast. Like, no, we're just going to like put our foot on your neck and we're just going to keep pushing.
Different philosophies, coaching wise, right? Because he had Belichick. Like, look at the last 2 Super Bowls Tom Brady won was because of defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They beat the Sean McVay Rams, the Sean McVay with Jared Goffel Rams. You know what I mean? And only Sony Michel scored a touchdown. You know what I mean? The MVP was Julian Edelman because he was just the guy that did the most. He had like over 100 receiving yards and like 11 catches or some bullshit like that. And just no one else had like more than 2 receptions. So he was just far and away the MVP. And that's how bad that was. It's not even like, like years from now, they won't, it's good because no one will remember like he was just like the shiniest piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you look back, I mean, Belichick, they could call a game, where they're up scoring 40-50. I mean, look at how many times they did it with Randy Moss when they literally were destroying teams, and then comes to the Super Bowl that year. And then you want to get extra conservative, like in the Super Bowl, drinking that Belichick juice. It could have been done. They just needed a different game plan. He went back to old Belichick.
I mean, if it would have been a new team to go perfect, I bet you the Dolphins put a hit out on him. They're like, if he wins this game, those 72 Dolphins, they celebrate every year.
Oh yeah,
they're about to snipe his ass, bro, if they won that game.
And now, I mean, you could tie them getting before the Super Bowl, but now it's even harder to go undefeated. It was already hard having to win 19 games. Now you got to win 20.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever going to beat that because there's way too many talented teams to let that happen.
I mean, it would have to take like a team like in a shitty division where it's like you already can count them for 6 wins already, right?
Yeah. Dion, what up?
What up, Dion?
Yeah, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever happen.
That team was so good. And because I'm pretty sure they had a top 10 defense still, but it was like one of the only years where they had the number 1 offense in the league as well.
I know their defense wasn't like, it wasn't what that team's identity was that year for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, 50 touchdowns, right? That was the Brady 50 touchdowns year.
Yeah. First one to ever do it.
That's so crazy.
And Stu said, hey, Bogey, how old's the little one now?
She about to be 8 months tomorrow.
Damn.
Hella fast, bro.
She's going to be walking real soon.
Oh, yeah. She knows how to shimmy right now.
Yeah.
And like but only backwards. So she'll be on her tummy and just shimmy hella far backwards. Then she'll like roll over and then shimmy another way. That's how she gets around. You know what I mean?
She only knows reverse right now, huh?
We're working on our mechanics.
That's hilarious. All right, we're going to get up out of here. What do we got? We got JC Money's show breaking down basketball Super Draft Pro lineup starting in like 10 minutes. We got the Circle coming on Thursday. We're coming every weekday with FNT, same time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, all the way through the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, we got Playmakers Manana, too, as well. You know what I mean?
And Stu said her first words are either going to be give me money or nya mean.
Nah, she already says dad. That's her first words, bro.
Nice.
She's the only one that said dad first. Everybody else said mommy, or one of my daughters said banana first. But like dad, I was like, yeah, let's go.
Nice.
She was yelling at dad just to get my attention and shit. That was funny.
At the Ramelia Sports Report, what up, bro? He said, congrats to Bogart's 49ers on a great season.
Yeah, I'll take that as an insult. Because you know why? There's 31 teams that are just as hot every year. Only one team can be happy about their season.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying that because that's why I always set the bar at 0 to no expectations. And it's made me a realist over the years. So at least after a day, I'm not as sour. Because today I feel great. Like I feel like the future's bright.
Got to do the opposite of Stu, who thinks that the Cowboys are winning a Super Bowl next year. Because every time they get knocked out in the first round or don't make the playoffs, it's such a disappointment.
And like, I know we're good, but like, you couldn't tell me that we were getting to the NFC title game or one game, or let alone be in the conversation to get into the Super Bowl. Like, I didn't think we were that team this year. I was worried about losing Saleh. So many different things happened, but hey, man, great coaches, man. You know what I mean? Shanahan's a great coach, so. And it's not, and you know what? We actually have an upgrade over Jimmy in the waiting, which is crazy.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. We're gonna get up out of here. Make sure you guys tune in to JC Money Show starting real soon, and we'll be back tomorrow. And then we got the Playmakers, and we got the Circle on Thursday. And yeah, get ready for the award show. We're gonna be releasing a time and date on that. We're getting everything together, getting all the panelists. It's gonna be awesome.
Hey, real quick, for Playmakers tomorrow, let's do like a Tom Brady like dossier, like all the fuck shit he was involved in, and you know what I mean. Let's really break it down.
All right, I'll be ready for that. The anti goat.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of an anti goat. You know, let's dip our toe in the water a little bit. Let's. He is the Dark Lord, Prince of the Sith. You know what I mean?
Football is the only sport where you can cheat and still get into the Hall of Fame. So he's still got that.
Baseball.
Nah, man, Barry Bonds ain't gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Brother, he's black and he's great.
What about Pete Rose? What about Pete Rose?
He's a cheater. He caught. You know why? There was a lot of people that he was involved with that they're just like, you know, all of them were like, we gotta shut him out. They blackballed him because he could have blew the whistle on hella people. And the reason he hadn't, actually, he wrote the books. He wrote all the books telling on everybody too. Fuck Pete Rose.
I think you're confusing that with Jose Canseco. He was the steroid guy.
Whatever, they're all snitches.
Pete Rose is the one. Pete Rose is the one who bet on baseball, but not even on.
Yeah. Did he tell on everybody and all the people that was involved with him?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
He was doing it all on his own. He was just a degenerate gambler. That's what it was. And he bet on his team to win. All right,
hey, man.
We're out.
Hey, shout out to Pete Rose, bro. Give it to him. I just remember him getting tombstoned all the time.
That's what he needs to be known for. Kane tombstoning his ass at WrestleMania. All right, we're out. Stick around for JC Money Show. Starts in 5 minutes. Peace.
As I make my way, the fact I'm still alive, my claim to fame. It's no surprise I'm on a rise, finna stake my claim. Separate me from the others, cause we ain't the same. Ask my brothers from another, we ain't for play. Time is money, so we got no time to waste. Soon as this thing's moving, it can't be stopped. Blue bands in my pocket, call that juggernaut.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your work sure would help a lot.
You notice that quote. Finna get a bag, bustin' down that blow. Out of East Side Ho, where they know my name.